Greetings, Royals. It is Constance with QueenlyMe.com, your place for tips and inspiration on learning how to do love and pursue that purpose the right way. Okay? Have you ever had a boyfriend, a girlfriend, an ex, a family member, a friend who was completely toxic? They meant you no good. You got in trouble every time you were around them. You were doing the wrong things, thinking the wrong things, going down the wrong path every single time you're in their presence. But you just could not cut it off and let them go. And you could not for the life of you understand why. Why can I just cut them off clean? I know they're bad for my life. I know they're toxic. But I just have this connection with them. Ugh. A lot of people mistake this connection as love. Oh, I must love them this much for them to be this much of a hot mess, and I still need them in my life. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there is a legit reason for how you can be so connected to somebody you know that you know that you know does not need to be in your life. And this reason is often because you have a soul tie with them. And once I started this blog post, I decided to make this a mini series because there's just so much that people need to know about soul ties. And the information itself, just in bits and pieces, is a lot to digest. So in this video today, I am simply going to explain what a soul tie is and how to tell the difference between a godly soul tie and an ungodly soul tie. So a soul tie is a spiritual connection that attaches you to someone else. And like I said, these can be godly and ungodly. And what determines that is the spirit upon which you connect. So it just depends on the reasons that you connected with this person in the first place. Godly soul ties connect you with another person for the purpose of healing, to complete a kingdom assignment, for protection, for adding power to a kingdom purpose, or just to bring unity in family or in a body like a church or a certain group. But we all know that it is Satan's main objective to create counterfeit versions of godly things. And if we're not careful, we can connect with people on spiritual bases that are ungodly and create an ungodly soul tie. Because how many of you know that there are bad spirits too? So you have to distinguish between them. So if somebody just comes up to you talking about spirit this and spirit that, you need to ask, through what spirit are you speaking? Because that needs to be defined, or you will find yourself in a whole mess of trouble. So ungodly soul ties can cause us to form an attachment and sometimes even a dependence on people who don't have our best interests at heart or who aren't going in the same direction that we are in life. And they may have all the good intentions in the world, but if they are being deceived by the wrong spirit, then you attaching to them can cause you to be deceived by the same spirit as well. A soul tie can cause you to stay in unhealthy, ungodly, stagnant, abusive, destructive relationships and friendships, even when you don't want to. You may know that it's not good for you, but a soul tie is like a chain that's wrapped around you, and it'll only let you get so far before it snatches you back. And sometimes we could be so deceived by a soul tie that we will actually think that our connection with someone is a godly one, when it could just be a counterfeit version of it. So here's a simple test that's going to help you figure out whether the connection you have with someone is godly or ungodly. A godly soul tie will always be bringing you closer to Christ and encouraging you to grow and develop in righteousness. An ungodly soul tie is always going to be bringing you farther from Christ and deeper into sin. Many people believe that soul ties can only be formed by having sex with someone else. But I believe that this is yet another deception by Satan that's trying to keep us in the dark and trying to hinder us from being completely free. I believe that godly soul ties were predestined even before the foundations of the earth. And that's why a lot of times you'll meet somebody and you'll feel like instantly that you've known them forever. Because way back then, before God even put some dirt on the ground, He predestined certain souls to just have a connection. We were created to need other people in order to survive. And as intentional as I know God to be, I honestly believe that as soon as He gave us our purposes, He predestined the certain people that He knew we would need in order to fulfill the purpose that He created us for. Both godly and ungodly soul ties can be formed in 5 different ways: physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. And that I will dive deeper into in the next post. So from now until then, I encourage you to chew on this information and really put your relationships through the test of whether they are godly connections or ungodly ones. Do the connections that you have with people right now encourage you to become more like Christ, or do they encourage you to go deeper into sin? Do they help you serve a good purpose in your God-given purpose? Do they encourage you to grow and develop in righteousness? Or are they always trying to convince you to go down the wrong road? From now until next week, I really want you to think about that. Make a list if you have to. Just keep them in mind. I don't really want you to do anything with them yet, unless you want to, on your own, do some research on how to break them. But I will be talking about that in my later post. So I hope that this helped you. Share it with someone that you are connected to. Share them with people that you kind of feel like need to know this information, because I know a lot of times it's hard to approach the people that we care about and are close to when we see them in an unhealthy relationship. You don't really want to be that person that's like, you need to cut it off, boo, because it's not good. So maybe sharing this information with them will open their eyes and plant some seeds in the garden of their minds. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and definitely hit the bell so you'll know when the next parts of this series are coming out. Comment below if you've ever experienced, maybe with an ex or with an ex-best friend, if you just had like this unhealthy connection to them that just would not let you go and you could not figure out why. I've definitely had that happen to me before, but I can tell you that breaking these soul ties completely freed me from my ungodly connections to people who meant me no good. So I'm excited for you to go on this journey, and I will see you same place next